What's going on, everybody? It is Luke here again, bringing you another video from Mr. FBA UK's Q4 Buster series. Now, this is episode 3, all about strategic pricing, tactics, and general tools and extras that I'll touch over at the end. As many of you are aware, there's 2 episodes already out. You'll be able to check those out on the YouTube channel, and I will upload them all to the Mr. FBA UK .co.uk website as well, just for ease. And just to let you all know that next week on Wednesday, what date is it? Wednesday the 2nd of October, I'll be doing a webinar with Thomas Parkinson, and we will be talking all about fast track FBA, which is something I've talked about before. But he has revamped the whole website with additional information, tools, and everything you would need to help kickstart your Q4 and complement it on top of, say, on arbitrage deals and FBA widget or tactical arbitrage. So we'll be running over that with a special offer for anyone that signs up, slightly different to what has been done before. So we're going to leave it there and let's get started with the episode. So we'll start off mainly talking about strategic pricing. Now, what do I mean by that? So, okay, come Q4, the whole market changes, meaning things that sold before sell even more, things that didn't sell might now sell. The volume and quantities you're going to be buying are all going to be changing. And so you need to go about it differently. You need to understand how the market acts over Q4, meaning people's buying habits, what sells, what doesn't, and then adapting your strategies around that. Now, I'm going to go over examples. I've got about 4 or 5 examples to show you how normally you would go about selling an item. For example, at the moment you can see we've got Fiber One chocolate fudge brownie. Very simple. I got BuyBot Pro up because I know a lot of you sort of newer sellers use BuyBot Pro, and I'm going to show you why maybe some of the information in that may not be as relevant in Q4. That it is as relevant in. It's not going to be as relevant in Q4 as it will be the rest of the year. There we go. And I'm going to explain why. I'm going to show you why, and then at least you can then go ahead and follow what I'm doing today when analysing deals and making buying decisions for your Q4, which ultimately should mean you have a better Q4 than you would necessarily have had if you were just following the standard tactics and rules and strategies that you have been all year. So let's just get started. I'll show you as I go and you will see exactly what I mean. So we're starting off. You can see, very simple, it's a fudge brownie, 90 calorie bar, simple as. You can see here that it's selling. This is for 360 days. We can go for 90. You can see all of these times it's selling. Now I'm going to go directly down to the actual keeper chart. So you can see here, this keeper chart is what I pay for, about £13 a month. I prefer it because I get this section of information, which I touched on in episode 2. And why I like that is because you can see the number of sellers. Unless it's been added in, which I do not believe, it only shows you this, which is not showing you the number of sellers. So for me, I'm happy to pay extra £13, but if you're not and you're newer and you want to cut down your costs, you can still do everything with this keeper data here, which if you look is exactly the same as this. It's just slightly, it just looks slightly different, but the data points, as in £4.49 there will be £4.49 there. You can see where it says FBA £4.49. So it's the same data, and you can use it. You can basically just use it without this if you acquire. But for this example, we will be using this just because I'm used to using it. So we're here at 3 months. Now you can see it's currently at $4.49 and it's sold at $5.88. But the most expensive it's sold at over these 3 months is that, and then the lowest is that. Not a problem. So we're going to go up here and we're going to type in a pound. Okay. So I've already pre-populated these leads with the rough costs that you'd be picking these up for. Doing all an arbitrage. So you can see here, a pound. I've analysed the deal and it, gives you the data. BSR, is it oversized, your profit margins, your ROI. The main things you want to look at obviously is can you sell it, the ROI, your profit, And then if you're new at the estimated sales, and however much you want to look at. For me, I like to do a lot of the analysis and decision making myself by looking at various things. Some people who are really new may want to spend their time looking through all of this because the money that they're spending on stock is valuable to them. They're really worried that they don't want to lose money, and it's all up to you. That isn't going to be covered in this course because this is not about Buy But Pro. It's just about what to look for and how to sort of go about your pricing. So here you can see 57% and profit is 57p. And I've set this up as if you're not VAT registered. So I'm currently VAT registered, so the profits in that are different. But most people are probably not going to be VAT registered as yet. So I've gone and set the settings up here as if, you can see, non-VAT registered right there, just for people, because most people are not going to be. So this will give you sort of more of what most people will be having. And if this is your first Q4, this is the sort of data that this is most probably what you will see if you input this example. So you can go here and see. So now you've got 57% ROI, which is relatively decent, because if you're going to go for a sort of rules, as in terms of your rules for selling, most time you will not go below 30% ROI. That is the sort of minimum. But again, some people say they won't go below £1. So you can see here it is within reason, but it's also below £1. So maybe you think, nope, not within my criteria, move on to the next product. Some people are more looking at the bigger picture, which is something I do. If I can sell 20 of these a month, but I can find 20,000 products like this, well, I don't really mind by getting 57p, because I'm selling so many thousands of units overall that you end up getting decent profits overall. Yeah. So for me, I will always take this rough figure. Of course, if the profit is if it's below a certain price, if you're getting 10p, you've still got to label it. You still got to do stuff like that. If you have prep fees, of course, there's no profit in this item anyway. So for each to their own on what they take, but it's irrelevant for this example. It's just to show you why you would do certain things. So let's carry on. So here it would say it does not meet criteria. It's too low in profit overall, is what it's saying. If you have, I haven't put prep fees in here. You can add this all into the settings if you really want. Now I'm going to say why this is an item that you want to almost not be selling over Q4. Okay, now let's go back to Keeper. You look at this and be like, okay, it's selling. Why might I not want to sell this product over Q4? Well, what we're going to do is think, one, what is the product? The product is a fudge brownie calorie bar. Is it a seasonal product? I'd say it can be, meaning it's a low-calorie bar. Low-calorie bar, probably not relating to people at Christmas time, because people don't really go on diet and look for low-calorie bar, but it is still chocolate and it is still a brownie bar. It could be a breakfast bar. So it's still relevant through the year, but not Q4 relevant, is it? Because this isn't something that's going to increase in sales over Q4. It'll probably actually go down a little bit. But again, breakfast bar, a lot of people would use that as a breakfast bar, so it still wouldn't stop, but it would actually go down in its relevance for that period seasonality. It's less relevant in that season. So the value of this product as a product lead is going to go down a little bit. Instead of selling one, we're giving it a value of 1. It's not going to go up to 2 times, 2x. It's probably going to go down to sort of like 0.9. So you're probably going to be selling 9 a month instead of 10 a month, that sort of thing. Yeah. And if we go down here, I will show you. So if you actually want to see what I mean by that, you click the year. And then we're going to go all the way back, and you can see here, around this period here, not that relevant. So around May to sort of probably there, around August, May to August, the number of sales, even though the price is quite static or stable, the number of sales actually isn't great. There's not a lot going on between there. It picks up here. It's quite here. And again, you can see here, there's a bit of a gap. It picks back up here. Now, what is that? Well, it's pretty obvious. This is January. This is when people want to go on their diets. pretty much. They want to cut down at least. So they are buying it because it's a low calorie. And then the sales are relatively okay. And then the summertime, while people have already had their diets by, end of April, come May, it's summer, people are now, going to barbecues and they're not looking to sort of have this. And then again, people might be wanting to cut down for Christmas time, come, around here, August. It's getting towards the second half of the year. And then people are starting to increase because they want to maybe cut down for Christmas because they know they're going to sort of splurge, yeah, as we all do. Unfortunately, so I haven't got around that. And again here, over Christmas time, you can see here, this is just going to back up what I've just said. Over Christmas time, as it gets closer, so you can see here, September here actually looks all right, and September here looks all right. And then as you push on towards Christmas, as it gets closer and closer and closer, yes, the price goes up, but the price is, the price is at that price there. In March, and it's still selling well. And the price is up here is at $8.55 in the middle of February, and it's selling at rank 5,000, and this is rank 60 for even more. So you can see the correlation, yeah. So this is a correlated product depending on season, but again, it does sell all year round. So number one, you can get a gauge. You could put this, if you were looking at the macro scale of things, you could, meaning the big picture, you could put this as a product you do not want to sell over Q4 because you are looking to focus on more important aspects and things. And yeah, I talk about pricing, and that isn't quite to do with pricing, but it's all part of the same package. You are adapting your strategies. This is all falling into sort of tactics in a way. You want to probably put this to the side until come the end of December, January, because you need to, you want to be focusing on the seasonal products, at least more than not. And if you've got an abundance of capital, of course, you can still sell some of these. You don't have to completely cut it out of your, your purchases, because if this is a replenishable that you have that you always keep buying, yeah, you can maybe still sell some, but again, just by doing the analysis, you can see it's probably going to sell less than what it currently is. So you may want to cut back. You may want to have like a skeleton catalog or skeleton, set of products that you are selling, because they're at, but not at what you would normally buy, because the seasonality relevance is diminishing. It's going down. Okay, moving on to the next one. And with that, you can't really control the price. The price is probably going to go down more than up, so you have less control in the price. I guess if we're trying to link this to pricing, because there's less demand, meaning you are less in control of what people are wanting to pay. And you can see here, in January the price is higher, in off season the price is lower, and yeah, it's not a massive difference, but there is a correlation there, meaning you've got to take it, give it a little weight. Right, now we're going to move on to another product. These are sort of like amaretti biscuits. Well, not sort of like, they are amaretti biscuits, okay. You can see, yes, it's a merchant fulfilled, but it doesn't matter that it's currently a merchant fulfilled. We're going to pretend that it's not. Well, I basically just use that price to populate into the sale price. So that's not even adding on like a little extra for prime. We're just having it as is. So let's say you're buying this for 180, and obviously deal analysis is here. You can see here 51%, and it's just under £1. But again, it's saying do not meet criteria. Now, this is where I wouldn't take this as important. I wouldn't use the relevance of do not meet criteria as heavily in my decision-making process. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay. So going over everything I've already mentioned in the last product, why is this not as important? Well, if we go down, again, you can look through all this data on Bullet Pro if you want to be doing that. We're going to go to here. We're going to click the year as before. The rank is currently, averaging around a sort of 15 to 20, maybe down to 10. Now, what happens over the Christmas period? Oh, look, there's a correlation. Ha ha. Yeah, you can clearly see this product gets down to 1,000. That's 1,500. And look at so this is why I use the number of sellers. The number of sellers is here, up at 13, end of November, and it absolutely plummets down to 3. over the next couple of weeks. Now, and you can see here that the product demand also goes up, meaning because the ranking goes down. So you can see a correlation between the sales rank, which is demand as well, and number of sellers. So sellers are selling out really fast because the sales rank is really low, which is what you want to see. You want to see people, meaning that the number of sales on this product is going up because of seasonality. Because what is the product? It's biscuits. Well, a lot of people will have them at Christmas time. You'll have them on Boxing Day. You have them on New Year's. It's not just Christmas. It's the season. People have lots of parties around there. People will break up for work and then they'll start having people over for dinner and drinks, and there'll be party food and there'll be family events and all that sort of thing. And this is what I could see at a lot of people's things as just as a bit of dessert, as a bit of on the side and for coffee, that sort of thing. And you can see why it would be relevant and be weighted as a seasonal product, weighted in your mind as more relevant. Now, instead of this selling 1x, meaning it's just selling what you've like this is very consistent. You're expecting it to sell like this all year round. Yes, their price goes down, but talking about the sales velocity here, and you can see. And it's exactly the same leading into the same period we've just done. And then around December time, so beginning of December, the demand for this picks up, and then again by the end of December it tips off. So you could say that the ranking has gone from something like 16 down to about 1 there. So that was the highest demand about 2 weeks before Christmas, which sounds about right because people will start having parties maybe from the 20th all the way through to New Year's. So everything is literally perfect in terms of our analysis. Everything I've said is linking perfectly to the data. And then what is the conclusion? When everything is lining up like that, is that instead of this being a 1x product, meaning 1x meaning let's say it sells 20 a month, and I know it sells 20 a month, every month I'll buy 20, send it in, and then I normally, within a month, will buy another 20. And we keep doing that. January, February, March, April, May, and so on. Now, what am I doing? I'm going to give that a weight. Now, I don't know how many it's going to sell because that doesn't give you an actual number. But I'm going to sell, instead of saying 20 a month, I'm going to say that it's probably going to sell 80. 50 to 80. Now, I don't know how many it's going to sell. So how do you decide? Because, you don't want to be left with these biscuits sitting there January. Well, okay. Well, if you buy 80, how many would you have normally bought anyway? So we would have bought 20. We've now bought 80. We've got 60 more. Okay, so really 20 will sell anyway because we know that. So we've actually got 60 extra. So that means we're going to have to sell like 4x. That's how we're going to sell at least 4 times more. Will we sell at least 4 times more? Well, when does the demand period start from? It starts from about the 10th, and it sort of finishes around the 19th. 10 days. Do you reckon it's going to be over 10 days you're going to sell 4 times more in those 10 days? So instead of saying 1, you're going to sell between 3 and 4, give or take, because you might sell a couple in a batch. Some people will buy 4 of those bags because they're having a big family event. So you will never always see just the 1 pack when you have sort of grocery related products like this. I would say that's relatively decent. 80 is what I would buy. That's for me, I would obviously come to that answer a lot faster. But this is just so that you can go away and do this sort of thing yourself. Now, what if you think, but that's too much? What if I don't sell 4, I sell 2 or 2.5 a day on average? Because you don't know how many it's going to sell. Well, what's the beauty of this? Come January, don't buy anymore. Don't buy that extra 20 you might on the 1st of January for the month because you still got 20 or 25 left. And you will sell them when? Oh, look, come January the 1st, sales are consistent again. You already know they sell about 20 anyway, so you don't have to buy any for that month. You just sell the 20 you have left over. And of course, take into consideration expiry dates and that sort of thing. So if you buy a batch of 20 and you notice, if you've been buying this for a while, or you might want to do a test batch. You might want to just start selling the item, I don't know, in October. Well, the demand isn't that high, so you might just buy 20. If the expiry date is not sort of, it's not massive in the future, of course, take that into consideration. There's lots of different variables that you've got to be aware of and adjust your purchasing strategies towards. But most products will have 6 months to a year on anyway, and that's my example. You can just buy 80. Now the beauty of that is that I'm not taking this into consideration as much. Now you're taking the return, but that 93p is worth more than your 93p because you're now doing 80 sales in a month instead of 20. So you're actually doing 4 times the value of the value of this is 4 times more valuable. So yeah, you're only making 93, but you're selling 4 times more. And all you're doing is clicking an extra however many on your cart, 50 on a cart. Instead of putting 20, you're putting your 50, you're putting your 60 or 70, and then when you come to obviously label it and add it to the system, when you add it, the amount of extra work to send in more of a product is less than finding the product, like then sourcing the product, then like batching the product, then boxing the product. This, when you get something the same size and the same thing, it's easy to box. You know the weights. How you can just add one product to the whole box and send in the 80 in one box. So the cost per unit on sending your shipping costs and all that go down. You don't have to try to mix and match items into a box to get the optimization of what's going into a box correct, so that your weight is distributed correctly. You're not just sending in 3 kilograms, or you're not sending in 18 and getting double charged, that sort of thing. So this product as a whole becomes more valuable. Therefore, the weight on these sort of things aren't as important, because it's not about, if you're selling, that means you're making about 75 quid a month just from one random biscuit. Well, okay, it doesn't sound like, it's quite a lot, not a lot of work, but you've got to do 80 sales to get 75 quid. Okay, if you can find 10 products like this, just random biscuits, or like random this or that, or like, who knows? Well, how much is that extra profit a month? It doesn't take you that many. If you get 10 products doing that, well, that's £750 a month just by selling random bits and bobs, I guess. And that's not even taking into consideration the big boys, the toys, toys, and all that sort of thing, which I'll go over in a sec. Yeah. So the pricing, meaning, a lot of people will look at this and be like, no, that's not worth it. I'm not going to buy it. Move on. But your strategies for pricing, really are not as important. Your criteria for what you are going to be pricing at, and again, and another extra thing is that it's currently selling at, like, what is it, I'd say £5.99. Well, what can we sell it at Christmas? Oh, look. Well, because everybody sells out, boom. What can you do? There's less sales, there's less competition. Maybe there's only a merchant fulfilled left, and you or one guy with like 3 or 4 in stock because he hasn't got enough. Well, what can you do? You can go ahead and sell it at £7, or you can go ahead and sell it at your £7.30 or whatever you were selling it at. Obviously, here's gone even lower. And you can now increase it by £1 or £2. And because it's under that £10 threshold, something that's £5.99 or £7.99, if you're buying 4 or 5 bags, is not seen as an increase in cost. Really, for the general customer, if they're paying £6.99 and £7.99, to them that's pretty much the same price anyway, even though you're making so much more percentage on top. So not only are you taking what we're not running off these current numbers, you're actually potentially going to make more money because you're able to control the price more, because there's less sellers, meaning you are able to choose the price. Even there was £8 something, yeah, and that actually meant the sales increased. So it's another correlation to seasonal products. So when you're pricing them, as in, when I mean pricing, I mean more like not what you're going to be charging, but it's like, it's also with the costs, yeah. So when you're looking at your data to decide, what am I buying, how am I going to do it, what's my strategy, will I hold out for 51% when you can clearly see from this example that actually this becomes a decent product when most people would think it's not, because of certain indicators. That's why I value indicators almost to 0%, and only take something like the raw data. I take the ROI, the profit, and you only, worst case, you're only paying 180. It's not like you're spending. If someone returns these as well, the value of the product even goes up even more, because if someone returns these, the cost, the unit cost that you're losing, that's going in the bin. If someone just sends in like a half smashed down like drunken pack of like amaretti biscuits, half eaten or whatever, then you're only actually losing a small unit cost rather than if it was a Lego set for 50 quid. Well, now what are you going to do? So the value of the product actually increases because your risk also then goes down in that sector, which is even better. Because you don't really want, to be selling products that are £500, because all you need is one every so often to really piss you off. That's what's going to happen. Moving on. Yeah, I've got plenty more of these examples. Don't you worry. Cadbury's dairy milk. I just found a random one online to give the example. I was going to use another one, but Bible Pro did not give me the profit properly. So I'm using this one. These are, you know what these are like. These are classic Christmas Day random stocking fillers for kids. They're like something you give to your uncle or your aunt or I don't know, cousins and I don't know, wherever, nieces, nephews, just yeah, one of those things. Fillers. Fill the pocket, anyway, let's get started. Okay, so this one, let's just say you're buying for $4.99, it's on offer somewhere. I don't know what it would be. This is actually giving you a better rating. It's saying it's not so bad, but the ROI is like quite low. The profit isn't hugely better than the Amaretti. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's 50p. I mean, it is actually quite decent. But, the indicator here is showing you almost completely different information than what the indicator on the last one was, where overall the products, remember this is a £5 product, not 180 as the one before was. So they're not far off each other in that area, because obviously this is like, 2.5 times the cost to buy. The ROI is almost half. The other one's like 50-something%. But the indicator is showing you something that maybe, is a much better product. So again, with these sort of pricings, you don't need to worry so much because you need to actually look at the other information, the seasonal data. Yeah. Anyway, jump to it. Bomb down here. Click this button. Oh look, I'll run through it all again. This actually goes to some silly. What category is this in? Groceries. Yeah. It is 10 blocks and bars, but we're going to go on groceries. There's 180 something already. But this gets, you can clearly see how this season, this is a seasonal item, and the price stays completely beautiful, like elegant. Look at that, it's dancing. It's just dancing. Well, it goes down a bit. I don't know what I'm saying. I never do anyway. But yeah, it goes down to 11, cool, pretty much 11. Maybe if you want to take 10.49, what's it currently at? 11.49. Well, even if you have to sell the odd one at 10.49, or just hold on to them, they're going to sell the rest of the year, as you can see. Even if you have to hold on to them for a couple more weeks, you're going to get £12 out of them. What you can do here, if you see it selling at sales rank at 40, that could mean you're selling 100 a day. So if you're selling 100 per day, so this is what we do as an example, 10.49. So this is an actual proper pricing strategy. So if we do this, you'll make, so look at the awful data on here. Now this, for anyone, would put them off. Now it doesn't put me off 100% because there's probably no polybagging. I would, I don't obviously have a prep center. It's just a label. Let's say the label's 4p, yeah? So 60p per block. What's the weight? How many could you fit in a box? Probably not worth it, to be honest. But let's say it was 10.99. So obviously there's certain limits you've got to take into consideration. Let's say it's this. That's not too awful. You make it about £1 per bar. You can get 17.64 bars in a pack, so that's your 17. You can send 17 of these in a box, which will just be under 15 kilograms, and you can get £1. So you're making 17 quid, okay? Per box. So if you had a 15 kilogram box, you could have 17, and that's just minus 5 quid. I know it's a little bit different than that, but obviously the boxes are going to get down from October. So let's say it's like you're making £12 a box, and you can send 17. So you're making £12 profit. Well, yeah, you've got to buy your box, but I always take those sort of costs at the end of it's more like the bigger picture, and then I could take off the box cost rather than per box, just for ease. But why would I say this is actually not a bad deal, considering a lot of you would laugh and say that's like the crappiest deal you've ever seen? This is why. If it was selling at whatever rank we just said down here, and it's not all, it's just fluctuating in price. It's just and look at the number of sellers. So the number of sellers at one point is 9. and it's 75. I reckon you could sell 100 of these a day. And the reason I say that is because there was stuff that I was selling last year, and I was boxing in. It was like chocolate related, so it was basically just chocolate stuff. It was chocolate related. I was boxing. This is just on one ASIN. 50 would book in one. I like 50 in a box. So I'd book in that one box, and within 4 hours I'd sell the whole box, or within half a day, sort of that. Between half. It depends on what, you know. I did it multiple times, so, and I just couldn't buy enough. I literally could not buy enough because I couldn't buy. Yeah, by the time I got them all in, I would send in multiple boxes, but they wouldn't all book in at the same time. And when they did, they sold out within, book it at 3 p.m. It would sell out by 9. And well, yeah, that's that. You can't really do much about it. And so for this one, 75, I could say I could do, even if it was doing 50 a day. Well, let's do the example. Let's just be completely, this is very, very, very underestimation, but just for everyone that's thinks I'm going to overestimate there. If we're doing that over just 14 days, that's 700 units. That's just 2 weeks. Well, I can say that definitely sold decent for 2 weeks, yeah? I mean, you could even say it sold for a month, but we're just being, well, it did sell good for a month, but I'm just going to be even better, even less like, and you're making £1, that's £1 on each box, that's £700 profit. I know it's not. So, because you have to minus the £5 shipping per, so yeah, if we have 17 in the box, divide it by that 700 units, that's not right, 700 units, that's it, 700 units divided by the 17 in the box is 41 boxes. 41 boxes times your £5 is £205. If you're making 700, it was, well, yeah, about 700 quid for all of them, minus your £200 for the boxes, you're making £500 profit just in 14, and this is me underestimating, so I reckon that's actually, you could do twice that, but just for anyone that thinks I'm making it up. You're making £500 profit on this item for 14 days. One random chocolate. I mean, look, if you actually want to look at the exact, so when is the rank? Yeah, that's exactly perfect as well. So the rank, December the 22nd, is, I think, was the last day for and it's the 4th. So that's actually 18 days. And if we're going off 14, let's say we're going to go off 18, well, you divide that 500 by your 14 days, which just means you make a £35, whatever it is, times that you buy your 18, you're actually making £642.85 profit over that 18-day period. And you could just sell over that 18-day, let alone all this extra bish bosh bash here, yeah? Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, and that is why, you could, and that's actually going off your 10.99 and not even 11.49 or what. Let's see what our prices we had. Like, we had at that price it was 12.45, and I'm going off almost the cheapest price. No, I'm not going off the 10.49, I know, but that's the lowest. But I'm going off, relatively low compared to what it has done, and so that means almost a slightly below average return. You're going to be making £642. Well, if we plus another 8%, well, you're making for £700, pretty much as it was before the boxes taken off. And not only that, what you start selling the amarettis. Well, you don't have to sell anything else but amarettis and big ass bars of chocolate. And it is as simple as that. And that, when I say, so this is why the pricing. It's probably the wrong word, pricing. It's more like the, I'm not sure what it call it, whatever you call this, yeah. Sort of this is like tactics and strategies for the prices and the returns and the data. Whatever the hell it is. Ignore me now. I don't know, but you get what I'm trying to say. You don't really need, and this isn't so bad, but again, you don't need to look as far as all that, because Q4 is just beautiful in its design. It's like saying, and the question people will say is like, oh, but what if it doesn't sell that many this year? Okay, well, you're telling, okay, so what year didn't Christmas happen? Oh yeah, back in 1995, there weren't no Christmas. I'm pretty sure it happens every year. I'm pretty sure it's the same every year. I've never noticed it to be any different. There's still shit tons of people going shopping. And Obviously, online sales is just going to increase with the likes of all the stores just disappearing, which is, well, because there's going to be none left. That's pretty much what's going to happen. And so there's no reason why it wouldn't even be an increase on this, what I'm actually currently going off, just by, you know, a couple of % increase in overall online shoppers. Doesn't stop there, baby. Next one, Toy Story. Now, this is something a lot of people probably actually are aware of, this sort of product. You know, it's a Disney product, it's a toy, seasonal at its best. You can't really get any better in terms of what the typical Q4 product for what people you want to be sort of trying to aim to sell, that sort of area, category, product, brand, you know, that sort of thing. Now let's go over it. So I put the data in. It's currently at 25 quid. It's selling at, I put 39.99, but it's currently selling at 40. Now it comes out as 19%, which is, a lot of people will be like, oh my God. First they just go, it's 11%. Like, just look at that. But yeah, I mean, even now, look at the numbers, huh? A little bit naughty. Right. So profit, let's say it's like 480. An ROI. Now, of course, this can change. The prices change. Well, let's have a look at the data. Right, now this is something, this may not, so you can see here this has gone crazy as of that, and it wasn't as popular then. So again, this is, so you're going to take a little bit less value for the previous data because the number of sellers is completely different. But you can see here, the ranking's really good, and obviously it's not as popular here because clearly the deal was not around as much. So it is a little bit difficult, a little bit harder to analyze this like the others because the data might not be as relevant. But all we can do is look what's going on. So it was selling at around £44, £39 September this time last year. That's actually very similar. Okay, so we can take that, and the ranking was around 5,000, and around now it's 3, so it's a bit better now. Probably because the price here in the buy box is actually a bit lower, which is sort of fair enough. And as it pricks up, and you can see here now, this is an interesting thing, which is disguised within this product. Now, because toys and this sort of product especially is like, if you had to rank it out of 10 in terms of what's the worst product to sell and the best product, this would be a 10. But what happens with that in terms of rankings and knowing if it's going to, how many it's going to sell extra? Because you would look at this and be like, well, it doesn't, I mean, a little bit, yeah, okay, come January, you can see it doesn't sell as well because it's, you know, it goes right up here. And you can see here, though, even in end of October, it gets to 53,000. It doesn't look that great there, but then it doesn't massively go, you know, it doesn't go down like here, does it? Over here, like it did with some of the other products I just showed you. Now, why is that? Now, there is a couple of reasons. Let's say this is let's say this is a 10,000 ranking product. If this product sells, let's say it sells 10 a day, that's an example. Come Q4, I reckon this product will sell. So let's say that I could make. Let's say I can make 10 sales a day now. Let's just say that. I reckon come Q4 you could do at least 100 sales of this product a day, probably up to 200 depending on how long you're in stock for. Because on Sundays, some days, as the peaks and troughs of the people obviously change, you're going to get a lot more of the buy box because there's less people to rotate, meaning you get like double the exposure to the buy box on random days, meaning some days you will actually, of course, get it where loads of people go out of stock. It takes them time to get back in stock if they are doing that. So we're going to be conservative as always. I say 100. Now you'll say, well, how have you gone from 10 to 100 considering it's the ranking isn't reflecting that as much. Now a little bit there, so at 50 you can see it goes a little bit down, but not anything crazy. It's because of this. Rankings are just giving you the approximation of what's best. So 1's the best, and obviously it goes up to never-ending, potentially, if there was a never-ending amount of products. Now, if something is ranked 10,000 and something is ranked 9,999, and then there's something ranked 10,001, what makes those two products either ahead or better, so worse or better by one ranking from this 10,000 ranking product? If this sells 100, so if the number of sales obviously increases with toys, as it will over Q4, and then this product does 100 now, why is it not moving in rank? Why? Oh, yeah, it's moving a tiny bit as every product does. But why isn't it going down to like 1,000 or like 500? It's because everything in that toy category is also going up by 10x. So the actual overall percentage change compared to each other is the same. There's no change, 0. Yeah? Because if I get 10% bigger and the other guy gets 10% bigger, say we put on weight or something, what's the percentage difference? Nothing. Still going to be the tiny, basically you won't be able to see, there's no measurable difference, meaning the rank won't change, but the overall picture changes. Yeah. So the difference between the difference between the ranking of 9,999 and 10,000, and then the one is in proportion to each other, not moving, but the number of people that are buying it is going up. Yeah. Which is sort of how it works. So you won't, and the only reason that anything that's less correlated to Christmas, for example, chocolate bar, well, actually the chocolate bar is consumed all year round, and so are toys, and so are all that. But toys are more correlated to Christmas. So everything within the toy game, what is it? Games and toys category? Toy and games is going to be massively affected by Q4. Now, something like Cadbury's may not be as affected as much. So it may, because the Cadbury's product may be in groceries. Let's say it's in groceries. So the ranking, let's say that was 5,000 ranking, and it goes down to 50. Why does it move more? Well, it might be competing against Tetley Tea. That's in the same category. Well, Tetley Tea is not going to move. So this Cadbury's bar will actually will be better than that Tetley Tea at some point. Well, what's behind the Tetley Tea? Raspberry jam. I don't know. Whatever else. So it's competing against products that aren't as correlated to each other, where toys and games, everything is correlated almost one-to-one with each other, meaning they're all going to move in confluence with each other because it is within a very more niche category. If that sort of chocolate bar was in edibles, well, what does that mean? There's so many things that aren't even related to edibles. Edibles could be Easter eggs. Well, okay, Easter eggs isn't going to sell at Christmas time, so that's going to turn into like a million rank, where it would have been 50 at Easter, and then the chocolate bar will go down to 50, and they sort of swap places because what they're moving against is not the same. So like the Tetley Tea won't go up 10x like the Christmas chocolate bar, like Cadbury's bar will go up 10x in terms of sales. It'll go up 0. And so, of course, it's going to be better ranking than that. And then the one below that and below that. And then it will conglomerate all of those chocolate-related products, within ranks 0 to 500. And then it might be biscuits between 500 and 1,000 because they sell slightly less. And then it will just be... So the items that are closer to 0 would be more correlated to the season, meaning Q4, Christmas, parties, whatever. And the products that move away from the ranking will be less related. Now, of course, you might have your granny over, so you might want to get some Earl Grey, but probably not going to be too correlated to Christmas. And then, we haven't even got to the good stuff. I'm getting so excited. What's going on with me? So you might be like, so instead of selling, what did we say? Selling 10 a day, you're going to sell 100. Well, selling 10 a day at £4.79 is only £47.90. And obviously you've got other costs. I'm not going to go into all the other costs like I did in the other example. It's just going to take too much time. But let's say you're making about 50 quid a day on this product. Well, if you're now selling 10 times that, you could be making about £500 a day on one product. Yeah, you're going to have to take off all your fees like boxes and shippings and stuff. But the value of this one lead goes up in your books. Because obviously, like I said, the amount of work to really get these in is just clicking quantity and just bumping the quantity up and get it delivered with the rest. It doesn't take any more effort. You don't have to find the product lead. You don't have to go scanning for it. You don't have to go on pay for softwares or services to find it. You don't have to go out and retail arbitrage or whatever. And now this start, even if you're only getting 250 quid a day because of all the cost, well, hang on. If you do that over every day in quick Q4 over 30 days, that's £7.5 grand profit. And that's if you're taking half of that. So that means you've taken about 10%, you're taking 10% ROI. because obviously your profit is actually half. So yeah, 479 divided by 2 times by your 100 a day. Is that what I said? Yeah. Times by 30, £7,185 profit if you could sell 100 a day. Now, this might not sell 100 a day, it could be 30 or 40, but you now see the value of these products where before you would look at that and think, God, that's crap. Well, £5 isn't too bad. It depends on, the strategies and stuff. But the value of all this information just becomes kind of less important. You only really, that I'm only using a select amount of data to create these numbers, and they're completely correct. Data doesn't lie, has no emotion, doesn't take sides, doesn't think I'm better than someone else and go, yeah, I'll give Luke that lead today. I'm gonna give him the buy box. Doesn't matter. Yeah. And of course, this is my fourth Q4 now. My first one didn't really count because it was like right when I started. So really my third proper, and I wouldn't be adopting this strategy. So everything I'm going over, this is exactly how I'm going to be going over Q4. And I wouldn't be doing it otherwise if I didn't believe it, if I hadn't seen evidence in the past to create my strategy this year. Yeah, I can only go off previous experience to build up my current, how I'm going to tackle Q4 this year. So you can see here, and even if this price potentially went down a little bit, I'd take £7,000 on random Disney toy any day. Of course, you've got to take into consideration, can you get enough stock? Can you do this? Can you do that? Yeah, you can, of course. But most people won't just be selling one Disney toy, a Cadbury's bar, and some Amaretti biscuits, yeah? That's 3 items. You'd probably be selling, 50, 100, 400 different ASINs. I don't know how many. It depends on the level of, seller that you are, the level seller. But I'm just giving you how you should be adjusting your Q4, because throughout any other month you probably would never look at it like this, and I wouldn't look at it like this. But now is the time to respect the data, where you may not respect it as much normally, to respect the data and then make your decisions and basically just double, 3 times, 4 times, quadruple whatever your Q4 then you had planned by adopting very simple tactics and rules. And a lot of people will look at this and think it's crap and move on. So you already got like an upper hand there, And then another thing, jump onto this. Let's say you go on a retail arbitrage and you see this product. This is just a little extra side thing. And you think, I've got 3 of these. I found them. This is actually a discontinued product. I found it I actually found this once at a duty free for like €54. And I scanned it just randomly. I was like, oh, I'll scan it. It looks all right. I was like, huh? I actually sold it for 125 or something. Probably sold it around. Maybe I sold it for 150. When did I go away? I don't know. Where are we now? Probably went away. Oh, maybe I sold it 160. Yeah, something like that. 162. So I'll do 190 now because it's discontinued. You could sell this product at Christmas for like even more than this. So you might go, I've only got 4 of this, and that's actually completely wrong. 190. Now you've only got 4. You cannot restock this unit. Okay, so this is another thing to think about. You cannot restock it. You restock this unit. You've got 4. What are you going to do? You're just going to go, I'll take 50 quid a unit? Probably not. You don't need to, because you're going to be getting so much cash flow back, or money in the bank, because of the speed of what you're doing. Really, obviously, it depends on the sort of type of products, like I've said. But if we're going off relatively seasonal products, you may, I can see this as long as you're not being stupid. You can easily do that. I know it's not much extra, but it's like, wouldn't you want an extra? I don't know what the difference was. Whatever, tenner, 40 quid, just by clicking a button. Some people like only make that a day, like minimum wage, and all you're doing is just doing that. And come like December, and if we just want to have another look, I haven't even looked at this one. Like you can barely tell, and obviously the price is going to be when it was probably not discontinued, so it's hard to tell on this. But you can see the ranking got down. Well, the ranking was good, and the ranking. Well, actually, you can see there. So Amazon went out of stock, and it's selling at. So yeah, so it was selling at 65 quid, Christmas period. Smashing it, boom, like bulldozing head first, whatever. And then actually 149.95. There we are. December 13th. It's like doubled in price. Okay, well, we're going to double this price. This is just me being annoying. All right, we're selling it. That's 500. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Not £303 profit. You got 4 of them. Well, let's do that, yeah. All right, we're gonna have 1,000. Wait, that's not gonna happen, is it? But you see what I mean? So because you've only got 4 now, what you're doing with your pricing strategy, you're adapting that because of the season. You are. Of course, you don't have to, and that's up to you. But it's like the data is telling you something. You have a choice. You either accept the data or you deny the data. So like anything in life, you make a decision based on all the information you have provided to your best ability. You interpret that information to create your best decision, which should create the best outcome for you. If it does, if it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's all you can do. So you can see here, the data's telling you exactly what I said without even analyzing this beforehand. Obviously, you can see here it was like 1 million sellers, and then I went to like none. Amazon obviously there, and it's like Amazon was sharing the buy box as well because the number of sellers like completely plummets while Amazon is still there. It says so maybe they went out of stock before, but just kept the date themselves on the listing as out of stock or something. But you see what I'm trying to say. And another quick tip at the end of all that, for Q4. When you are buying, you can clearly see the quantities that I've sort of been discussing here. How many, if you can pick it up 100, 200, I've been chucking hundreds out there all day today. You want to be, of course, looking to get next day delivery on all of your big purchases. Because if you are buying, 2.5 grand, yeah, of stock, and your average price is like 30 quid. Yeah, that's like 85 products. Let's say it's 85 products. Well, if you're dividing your £6 shipping costs, by your 85, you're literally doing 7p. It costs 7p a unit to get tomorrow. And a lot of, there are some that are great and they're shipped really fast and there is click and collect on a lot of stuff. Or there are some which take a little bit of time. Maybe it's the weekend coming up and that's 2 extra days that you're losing. And then if you keep doing that, that could be, if you look over them up, 3 months, and let's say there's an average of 4. Basically, you're getting 24 days, which is a week. Obviously, it was all the weekends added up. Probably not exactly that, something, whatever it is. I say it's 20. But there's 20 days where you're basically losing out on sales because you're waiting for deliveries. And then you've got to get it in anyway. And by adding 7p onto your products, if you're doing, let's say, using 5,000 units, costing you 350 quid. That's actually quite a lot. No, but it's 350 quid to get all of your stuff delivered tomorrow. And instead of doing £25,000 in sales, you're doing £35,000 in sales. So you're doing 10 grand more in sales, making, I don't know, 4 grand profit, and you're spending 350 for that privilege of getting an extra 3 grand profit. Yeah. It's all that is all Q4 is all about, just that numbers game. Numbers meaning faster, getting everything, more quantity, more cash in. That means spending more money faster, meaning finding more deals, meaning recording your data properly, meaning staying on top of all your reimbursements so that you get more cash back faster, making sure you get everything obviously reimbursed, as mentioned that, making sure you sell to be feedback so that you can actually make sure you can sell properly so that you can actually make more money, because if you can't sell then you won't be able to make any money, and it's all about that. It's all about literally just getting that whisk and making it, get the air into that batter, whisk it away until it's all frothy, but that's all you gotta do. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Hopefully you all got a little bit of insight into what I'll be doing this Q4 and why I'll be doing it this Q4. And everyone, everyone's at a different level, of course. So some people might want to use this and take it on board and still go about their first Q4, for example, and take it, just take it as it comes, but take into consideration what I've also said. Or they might want to just see their first Q4 as it is and then be like, you know what, yeah, that was true, but next year I know what to do. And some will be more established and will already know this, and some might be like, okay, there's a couple of things I touched on which I'll add to my methods for business. Anyway, hope you have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one.